Is this working? Okay. All right, you said 7:30.
It's 7:30.
So please sort of find your seat if you haven't already. And I guess that this first meeting is called to order. So welcome everyone to the 2021-2022 Student Senate. What is that noise? Okay. So for our first order of agenda business is the opening prayer. So I'll start us in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Lord, as we undertake the role of campus leaders, let us be affirmed by the servant leadership we witness in your Son, Jesus. Let our greatest passion be compassion, our greatest strength, love, our greatest victory, the reward of peace. In leading, let us never fail to follow. In loving, let us never fail. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So next is roll call. So I'll invite Mary Masson down, our acting secretary. Elise, could you hand her the microphone?
Yeah, I'm just going to give you one of these.
Does this work?
Should I skip you last time? Sorry? Yes.
Oh, our first roll call question of the term will be, if you prefer a different name, just let us know.
Matthew Bisner.
Yes.
Sparsh Modi.
Yep.
Madeline Smith.
4.
Daniel Skirmerhorn. Faith Woods. Nolan Lyon.
Here.
Miranda Colon. Colin Murray.
Here.
Christian Cologne.
Here.
Patrick Gilligan.
Here.
Annika Barron. McLean Farrell.
Here.
Emma Eckstein. Isabel Karen. Cooper Scholl.
Here.
Benjamin Earhart.
Present.
Abraham Figuera.
Here.
Madeline Kosabuki. Mary Griffin. Christian Yoder.
I'm filling in, but here.
Brian Kearns.
Here.
Bianca Burnett. Elizabeth Martin. Veronica Slevin. Elizabeth Gonzalez. Michael Jacot.
Here.
Zachary Cortez.
Here.
William Kennedy.
I go by Will.
Okay. John Bailey.
Here.
Ava Downey. Mary DeVoe. Henry Bates.
Here.
Blake Johnson.
Here.
Paul Stoller.
Here.
Jacob Lowry.
Here.
Timothy Gallagher.
Here.
Maddie Tupy. Connor Delaney.
Here.
Alan Najoma.
Here.
Madison Nemeth. Jack Rotolo. Alik Spasden.
Here.
Minu Selvin. Kate McLaughlin. Caroline Cameron. Mabry Webb. David Huangs.
Here.
Daniel Lau.
Here.
Karen Kennedy. Nikhil Naburi.
Here.
Max Siegel.
Here.
Kevin Wang,
Here.
Claire Crafts, Erica Magdala, Amaya Medeiros, Mary Elizabeth Stern, Haley Butterfield. Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh, and Mary, Jack, Elizabeth, and Allison are all in the Zoom, so I didn't let them into the waiting room.
Oh, yeah, Mary.
That was the best of us. Well, great. So our next order of business, assuming we have one, I think we do, is the Odes of Office. So I'll invite Alan Romo down, as well as David Holmes. Yes, we actually do have two microphones. Elise, can you come on?
You guys-
All right, Ellen, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the office of
that I will faithfully execute the office of
Student Body President of the University of Notre Dame du Lac,
Student Body President of the University of Notre Dame du Lac,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the undergraduate student body.
the Constitution of the undergraduate student body.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, y'all.
Hey, Matthew, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the office of
that I will faithfully execute the office of
Student Body Vice President of the University of Notre Dame du Lac,
Student Body Vice President of the University of Notre Dame du Lac,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the undergraduate student body.
the Constitution of the undergraduate student body.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
And now, Senators, it's your turn. So let me get it pulled up. I will ask all senators in the room to please rise. If you're able, and raise your right hand. And repeat after me. I, insert your name. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute. Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Student Senator of the University of Notre Dame du Lac. The office of Student Senator of the University of Notre Dame du Lac. That I will bear true allegiance to the same. That I will bear true allegiance to the same. That, exercising my highest ethic, I will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the undergraduate student body. That I take this obligation freely. And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office which I am about to enter. Thank you so much and congratulations. So exciting on the first day. So on to our executive announcements for the day. First of all, in addition to being our first Senate meeting, today is Holocaust Remembrance Day. And I regret that our meeting is taking place at the same time as the Jewish Club prayer service out on South Quad. Please take some time later this evening or in the near future to visit the grotto. Spend some time honoring those that we have lost to anti-Semitic violence in the Holocaust and years since. This week, Anti-Semitism Awareness Week has seen some truly egregious acts of anti-Semitic conduct visited upon members of the Notre Dame Jewish community. namely the display of offensive images at one of their events earlier this week. For our part, Alan, Alix, and I pray that no current students were part of this shameful display. If they were, however, we hope that the university will take swift and necessary action to enforce its prohibition on discriminatory harassment. I hope that the events of this past few days and this week remind us that there is no time to take a break from being kind and compassionate neighbors to all. Now, in lighter news, tomorrow and for every Friday until the end of the semester, I'll be holding office hours noon to 2 p.m. In the student government office, which is on the second floor of La Fortune. I'm also able to schedule Zoom meetings and independent appointments outside of those hours and outside of that location. But my hope is that I can meet all of you senators by the end of the semester, especially our new members, get to know you, answer any questions you may have about the office and about the responsibilities you have now. Yeah, so feel free to stop by. I'll be there tomorrow and every Friday after that. And for our last executive announcement, I'll welcome Madison Nemeth down to present a quick presentation on parliamentary procedure.
Yeah.
All right, hi guys. So basically, oh wait, you guys can't see the presentation.
Oh, shoot.
You have a presentation.
Wait, can you email it to me and I'll just share screen?
Do you have access to the agenda?
Yes. Let me just get that. Sorry. Technical difficulties.
Bear with us,
First
folks. We're
meeting.
still getting our act together.
Sorry. There we go. Okay. All right, let me share the screen.
You'll have to move the
Yeah.
presentation over to it. Not on Zoom.
Yeah, it's just wait, can you come help me?
If you just drag, we can drag this over
Over here. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna give a quick presentation on parliamentary procedure. It's basically just the way that meetings are ran in the Senate.
You just say next. So.
Yeah, next please.
Okay. It just I'm so sorry, guys.
You're doing great.
I'm the wrong person to ask to do technology.
We'll work it.
This should work.
Yeah.
Does the clicker work? Yes.
There we go, yeah, okay. All right, sorry. So parliamentary procedure is basically a method of running meetings and conducting business. It helps keep everything in order, helps you know what's going on. Yeah, it'll become clear. Why do we use it? To ensure that the majority rules while protecting the rights of minority, and to provide order and fairness so we can make sure nobody's monopolizing time, everybody can speak. And I'm just gonna give a brief presentation. Oh, it's no longer. Okay, so if you guys go to the Parley Pro link right there, you don't have to do it right now. There will be a very extensive list on parliamentary procedure and different motions that you can use in a meeting. Okay, thank you. All right, so the general outline for meetings, we have the meeting called to order. the minutes will be approved. So each week minutes are taken by the secretary. You guys should look at that, and then each meeting we approve those. Then we move into general orders. You have debate on those different things. Next. All right, yep, this is Matthew. So calling the meeting to order with the pumpkin gavel. Okay, so Mary will summarize the meeting minutes. Matthew will ask if there are any corrections.
I'm sorry.
You're okay. If there are no corrections, then the minutes will be approved. If corrections are suggested, which I recommend doing prior to the meeting, those will be reflected as long as you guys vote to approve those. So someone will present a proposed motion. You can ask, so today, for example, nominations, you can ask questions during the questioning period. Someone will need to motion to end questioning and move to debate. We have little cards up here to kind of help you, and we can try to pass those out. And then you need, I don't know if I said this already, you need a second, and then that'll be voted on. But today it might look a little different. We'll probably use unanimous consent, which basically, as long as there are no objections, we'll be moving on. Yeah, thank you, Karen. So then once you end questioning, you move into debate. You can debate that, show support, opposition, say whatever you want about whatever is being presented. And then once you believe that your body is done with debate, you will need a motion to end debate and move to a vote. You'll vote on that. The vote will ensue on that, and then you'll have the main vote on the main motion. So it sounds a little confusing, but I really think this will make it a little clearer. Okay, yeah, so someone read the proposed resolution. Senators ask questions. You can propose time limits generally at the beginning of a meeting if you don't want too many people to monopolize time. We can get into more detail about that at another time. Once there are no questions, moving to debate. Oh yeah, so today the nominees will be asked to leave the room when you guys start debate so that you can debate freely without the nominee hearing. And yeah, Matthew will cue you whenever we're in questioning or debate, and you can always ask if you have a question about procedure or what's happening. Okay, so following debate, you can either move to refer something to a committee. So for example, we have the Committee on the Constitution. If an order to amend the Constitution comes up, for example, and you want more eyes to look at it, you want it to be combed over a little more, well-researched, you can refer it to the committee instead of approving it or failing it right there. You can also postpone a piece of legislation to a later time. And you can also move to vote immediately. So yeah, if using the reference to a committee is actually really helpful because it can give you some time to really think about some important things, talk to your constituents, and have that legislation run through the department. Okay, so postponing or referring, I think we covered this. Covered that? Thank you. Again, Matthew will kind of cue you if he thinks that there's a lull. Final vote. Okay, so you can either vote yes, no, or abstain, and it'll either pass or fail. C, very important that resolutions and amendments need a 2/3 vote to pass. And I think this will be a little clearer in the document that has all the Parley Pro. But if, say, for example, we usually vote by like hand, if you want to have a more private vote, you can always motion to have said private vote via like a Google form or something. Yeah, I can give more detail on that when it becomes more relevant. And then adjournment, we just need a motion to adjourn. It'll be clear when that time comes. Please refrain from motioning to adjourn in the middle of a meeting. Yeah, and then you need a second and then a quick vote. But we do need a quorum in order to end the meeting. So it's very important for you guys to come and to stay during every single meeting. So that means, quorum means that we need 2/3 of the voting members here. If we don't have that, we can't end the meeting. So please stay. Oh yes, all that there. So all these people need to make sure that they are here so that we can have the meeting, run the meeting, vote on stuff, and actually end the meeting. These are some other people who show up to Senate. They should know who they are. Yes, attendance, pretty much mandatory. You can miss 3 meetings each semester and 6 total for your term. And if you miss more than that, you will likely be referred to the Ethics Commission, and you can, lose your position, potentially. If you're going to miss a meeting, please notify Matthew and Mary at least 24 hours beforehand, and you'll fill out the proxy form that you can see on the agenda right under this presentation. It's very important that you do that. It helps us know whether we have a quorum or not. It helps us know if you're here, and it makes sure that you aren't counted as missing if you are really not. Please tell your proxy what to do if you're going to send them here. They should vote according to the way that you say they should. Oh yeah, and it's a little helpful if you have your proxy check in before, but during roll call, just make sure they say that they're a proxy. There's more info. I'm not gonna go through that, but it's there for your reference. Right of the agenda. Okay, this is pretty important. Sorry. So it's all very important, but okay, so according to the Constitution, any voting or non-voting members, so all the people that we listed, whether they're required to be here or not, have the right to the agenda, meaning they can talk to Matthew and get anything put on there, really. Resolutions to be debated and voted on must at the very least be submitted 48 hours before the meeting takes place. So that would be, you said Monday, Tuesday night? Okay, yeah, get everything to Matthew if you want the chance to have it on the agenda that week. And if that is not guaranteed, but have that to Matthew by Tuesday night. And please send that to Matthew, Karen, and myself. We can type the emails in there somewhere to make it a little easier. Monday night, sorry, not Tuesday nights, because we need it to do the agenda on Tuesday nights. So Monday night, sorry about that. So yeah, on that note, so you have the right of the agenda, but the chair has the final decision on the agenda. So if the agenda seems very busy, and say your resolution or order or anything came in later than anybody else's, then that's more than likely going to be pushed back. So please be patient. Know that the chair is doing their best to have the Senate hear what you're presenting, but know that it's not necessarily guaranteed for that week. But don't think that Matthew doesn't think that it's a priority. Per Article 3, Section 4R, Matthew may also assign legislation to the relevant executive department or committee. So really that's just if Matthew thinks that it could use a little more research, a little more fine tuning. It's really just polishing it up so it is the best it can be so that it can not only pass in the Senate, but look as good as it can for the university administration. So this process is actually very important, and I encourage you to use that process on your own without Matthew's cue even. Yeah, so also you can contact myself or whoever the parliamentarian may be on what you are working on. I can help you with resolutions, orders, yeah. So other stuff, if you If you want, you can yield to other members, so you can defer your speaking time to another member, or you can defer that to your constituency. Because your constituents don't necessarily have speaking rights, but you can kind of grant your speaking rights to your constituency if you feel that their testimony is important. We will go over this again in August, so don't feel like you need to jam this all in your head right now. It'll also become very clear once we start doing meetings more regularly. You just kind of get into the practice of it. So then here you can see that, my contact information. My office hours will probably be on Fridays as well if you need to talk to me, but really if you email me, I'll try to get back to you within like 5 minutes as long as I'm not in class. Yeah, that is all.
Thank you so much, Madison. Any immediate questions for Madison or me about office hours from procedure? Yeah. Could you remind the Senate of your name?
Was that?
Could you say your name, just so we start recognizing?
I'm Christian.
Great.
How should we seek recognition of the chair?
So usually I'll have placards for you all. I've forgotten them today. I apologize. So just holding up your placard or raising your hand, and then I'll once I know your name, I'll start calling on you by name. But yeah, just raising your hand is fine.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Abraham, right?
It's Abraham Figueroa.
Yeah, great.
In regards to yielding to the constituency, is there a limit to how many we're allowed to bring to a meeting?
Within reason. But if there are specific speaking limits, so if I recognize you for 5 minutes, say, and then you yield to a constituent, that constituent will still have your 5 minutes.
Thank you.
The only thing I would add to that right now is to be somewhat cautious because we are at a limit of 100 in the room. So when it's non-COVID time, there really isn't a limit to constituents being in the room. But right now, if you were planning on bringing a large number of constituents, or if encouraging people to come for anything, I'd ask you to touch base with Matthew so that we make sure we maintain under 100 in this space for the rest of the semester.
Great, thank you so much, Karen. Any other questions? Great. So hearing no further questions, we'll move right into nominations, which is all of our general orders for today. So our first nomination is for Chief of Staff. I'll invite Alan down to read this. We'll go back and forth on these, so to save you all and ourselves.
Perfect. To the Student Senate of the University of Notre Dame du Lac, we respectfully ask for your consideration in confirming Alix Baisden to be Chief of Staff and our Executive Cabinet for Student Government's upcoming 2021 to 2022 term. We have complete confidence that Alix will faithfully execute the duties of our office, which include but are not limited to overseeing the execution of the tasks of the departments of the Executive Cabinet and working with the Executive Committee, working to improve the university policy and program implementation, accompanying myself and Matthew to any and all meetings pertinent to the duties of Chief of Staff, supporting all initiatives put forth by student government, executing any and all platform points put forth by myself and Matthew, serving as an advisor to myself and Matthew on any and all matters necessary, being an accessible and friendly ambassador for student governments across campus. We selected Alix to be our Chief of Staff because she is passionate, personable, and hardworking student that is determined to improve Notre Dame and possesses strong leadership capabilities. She's truly a public servant, which is exemplified through her previous experience as field co-director, vice president of Howard Hall, member of the Monroe Student Advisory Council, and research in both economics and history. With experience in nearly every side of student government, Alix can channel diverse perspectives to make solidly considered decisions. It is our hope that this letter assures you that Alix will be an exceptional addition to the Executive Cabinet and contribute greatly to bettering the student union. We have the utmost regard for her body of work on campus thus far, which has shown her to be a dedicated servant of our Notre Dame community. Additionally, we hold high hopes for her achievements to come as we work together in the coming year to make tangible difference in the daily lives of students. Respectfully submitted, Alan Jomo. And Matthew Bisner.
And so now we'll invite Alix. I guess you're already on the floor. to field any questions from the Senate.
And I just want to say I'm running the Zoom, and if you guys have any questions, can you just raise your hand, and I'm gonna run up and give you the mic, because people on Zoom can't hear you if you ask questions from out
Or
here.
senators, you can also come down.
Yeah,
and ask questions.
that'd also be great for me, so.
Oh my gosh, Elise. Let's just have senators come down so that poor Leaks doesn't run a mile.
I'm so sorry, Alex.
Great.
Anyways, thank you so much. I just wanted to ask you if you could describe your personality with one zoo animal, what would it be? Zoo animal. Yeah.
I would like to say those like birds that fly around the zoo, they're pretty much just pigeons, and they're probably not part of the zoo, but it's still fun to see them.
Any other questions? Ben?
Motion to end questioning, move to debate.
All right. The motion is to end questioning and move to debate. There was a second, so in order to vote on that, if you'll just raise your hand if you are in favor of closing questioning and moving to debate. Great. And all those opposed? All those abstaining? Great. We have now closed questioning and moved to debate. Elise, please exit for just a quick minute. She's a real trooper. Honestly, if that doesn't show her dedication, I don't know what. Great. Are there any points of debate? Dan?
Motion to end debate, move to a vote.
Is there a second? Okay. All those in favor? All opposed? All abstaining? Great. We are now in voting procedure on the nomination of Elise Baisden. All those in favor of approving Elise's nomination, please raise your hand. All opposed? All abstaining? Fantastic. Who's up there that I can see? Dane, could you run outside and grab her real quick? This is gonna be a long night. Oh, there she is! Whoa! It's like the Muppet Theater. Congratulations, Elise. You've just been approved by yourself. Great, thank you all so much. So moving on to our next nomination, I'll take this one. On the nomination of Mary Mask. So to the Student Senate of the University of Notre Dame du Lac, we respectfully request your consideration in confirming Mary Massman to be Student Union Secretary in the Executive Cabinet for the upcoming 2021-2022 term. As the Secretary of the Student Union, Mary will utilize her organizational and communication skills to record the agendas and minutes of the Senate, Executive Cabinet, Executive Program Board, and Campus Life Council. She will ensure both the accessibility and effective distribution of this information in order to promote student government initiatives and facilitate coordination across the different branches of the student union, the university administration, and the student body. As Secretary, Mary will serve to advance the interests and goals of senators, the Executive Cabinet, and the student body. Mary's primary objective will be to promote strong operation and communication across the Notre Dame Student Union. As a first year at Notre Dame, Mary has cultivated a commitment to student leadership and effective communication across campus groups. Her involvement with Fuel sparked her passion for student government engagement and amplifying student voices. As a member of Fuel, she served on the Mental Health Committee for first-year students and worked with the McDonald Center for Student Wellbeing to raise awareness about student mental and emotional well-being. In addition, Mary served as a member of the Department of Social Concerns, where she contributed to department goals of connecting students to the South Bend community through service opportunities. Alongside her work on student government, Mary served as a marketing coordinator with the SHIRT Committee, collaborating with other students throughout the year to design and promote the SHIRT 2021. In her role as Student Union Secretary, Mary will strive to be a diligent servant to the student union through strong communication and further development of her leadership ability. She seeks to foster a collaborative student government through her commitment to organization and serving the student body. Overall, we believe that Mary's passion for strengthening the student union and empowering the student body will serve her well as student union secretary. Respectfully submitted, myself and Alan. So please, Mary, come to the podium. Are there any questions for Mary Masson? Blake, nothing. Blake. I'm excited. Blake is the new San Canova. Thank you so much.
I'm so sorry to do this to you guys, but what is your favorite rock band?
Rock band?
Yeah. How about 80s rock band?
80s rock band. I like Queen.
Nice.
Solid answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Blake.
Thank you.
Yeah, honestly. Any other questions for Mary Masson? Ben? Oh, no, I'm sorry, Christian.
I was gonna move to end questioning.
Great. Is there a second? Second. All right. And questioning and move to debate. All those in favor? All opposed? All abstaining? Fantastic. We are now in debate. Mary, please make the long walk up. I wish we could just step outside this door. It would make things a little loud, but it would work. Great. So are there any points of debate? I think Queen's an excellent band. If I need to say so myself. Christian? Great. Are there any objections? The motion carries. We are now in voting procedure on the nomination of Mary Masson. All those in favor? All opposed? All abstaining? Great. Dane, could you run out again?
That's okay.
Oh,
You
great,
can
great, great. Please come back in. Congratulations, Mary. Thank you so much, everyone. Next is the nomination for executive controller. Alan.
To the Student Senate of the University of Notre Dame Duloc, we respectfully ask for your consideration of confirming Jack Rotolo to serve as executive controller in our executive cabinet for student government's upcoming 2021 and 2022 term. We have complete confidence that Jack will faithfully execute the duties of his office, which include but are not limited to setting and maintaining the budget for the entirety of student government, sitting on the financial management board, developing and overseeing financial initiatives, holding department members accountable, working to improve the student enrichment fund, initiate and overseeing fundraising campaigns. Jack is hardworking, intelligent student who is devoted to improving Notre Dame and student accessibility and funding. He has developed his business acumen through extensive experience as a business analytics major and internships in the corporate strategy sector. He has previously served as the senator of Alumni Hall. Additionally, Jack has served as a member of the Department of Student Life, focusing on residential life and budgetary reform. Outside of student government, Jack enjoys working with Notre Dame's chapter of College Mentors for Kids, where he serves as a general manager in charge of a group of students and little buddies. These activities have allowed him to develop as a leader. Jack is committed to accuracy and efficiency within his department as he works to serve the student government and student body as a whole. His business experience, as well as his passion for Notre Dame, and his desire to improve the student body will allow him to succeed in his role as executive controller. Respectfully submitted, Alan Gemma and Matthew Bisner.
Great. And we have the pleasure of having Jack Rotolo join us over Zoom. Now looks like the Wizard of Oz.
Hello, hello.
Questions for the great Jack Rotolo? Person?
So I have two questions, Jack. I don't know, where should I look? Can I look at the screen?
The camera's back there.
Okay, so Jack, I have two questions. Number one, where are you staying right now?
I actually got super lucky. I am living it up at the Embassy Suites right now.
That is fantastic.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
pretty nice.
All right, second question is a more serious question, Jack. A big concern among the constituents, the Highlanders of Duncan Hall, is financial transparency. As executive controller, how will you work to ensure that the budget that you set for student government will be publicized so that all students know where their money is being spent and why it's being spent?
For sure. That's a great question. Financial transparency is definitely one of the most important things I'm going to be looking at as hopefully as executive controller if I'm confirmed tonight. I know that was something I talked about really extensively in my conversations with Alix, Alan, and Matthew. Something I'm really excited about doing if confirmed, I want to start a executive controller not cabinet, so to speak, because I'm a cabinet member, but department, which hasn't really been done before. Bring in people to help me plan the budget so they can get a feel, other Notre Dame students as well, so they can get an understanding of how the budget works, where the money goes, how it's used effectively. Also, something I'm really interested in is having office hours as well, so I can talk with students so that if they have any questions about how money is being spent, what things are being funded, I can give them my own time to just talk to them, explain that through the process thoroughly with me, because hopefully I'll be the one planning the budget if I'm confirmed. So definitely want to be as transparent as possible with this.
All right, thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Christian and Jack. Are there any further questions for Jack Polo? Ben?
Okay.
Hearing no objections, it's so moved. So at least could we put him in the waiting room?
Yeah.
He's not here.
I'm just gonna try.
I'll just hide myself.
Jack, do you promise you won't listen? I'm not very good at Zoom.
Swear, you know what? I'll just take out my headphones, turn off the computer, whatever I have to do.
Great.
I'll message him on Zoom.
Are there any points of tentative debate while Jack Polo looms over us? Blake.
So I know Jack's group calls mentors for kids, and he's really, really good with this. I mean, so if he's half as good at managing the budget as he is with kids, that's fine.
That's very sweet. Thank you. Thank you, Blake. Any other points of debate? Great. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion carries. We are now in voting procedure on the nomination of Jack Polo. All those in favor of approving his nomination? All opposed? All abstaining? Great. Can we Zoom chat him his congratulations? Oh no, he's listening the whole time. Great. Thank you all so much. Congratulations, Jack. All right, now the next one is the beast. It is the nominations for our 18 cabinet positions. It is presented in one long letter, which I guess could be heard en banc. But if there's a motion to divide the question, we'll hear each individually.
I actually have this consent that the reading of the letter just starts with my question.
Okay. Are there any objections to not reading the whole letter and just having questioning and debate on each of our executive cabinet members? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. So you've had the letter to read through, and so we'll kind of go through one by one with questioning debate on each of the cabinet members. Or Christian, did you intend to have questioning debate on each, or one big questioning and debate section?
We can do one.
Great. So first is academic affairs, Nikhil. So I'll welcome you down to the floor. Are there any questions for Nikhil as we nominate him to the position of academic affairs?
Motion and questioning with debate.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion carries. We're now in debate on your nomination. Could you please step out? Not even a nice question on his suit. Look at it. Great. And he's gone. Any points of debate on the nomination of Nikhil?
Motion and debate.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion carries. We're now in voting procedure on the nomination of Nikhil Namburi, the Director of Academic Affairs. All those in favor? All opposed? All abstaining? Great. Thank you so much. And we're retrieving him. Congratulations, Nikhil. Great, so the next is Director of Athletics, Max Siegel. I'll welcome you down to the floor. Any questions for Max? Not even fun one? Blake?
I'm not. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at sports?
Let's just say 10.
This is all right. Any other questions?
I only play one, so just football.
Any other questions? Great, Christian. Great, are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion carries. We're now in debate on the nomination of Max Siegel. We'll wait. You want to send? Yeah, we could send Alan since we're not reading letters.
Yeah, so for all of our other nominees, I think we're gonna have you guys stand up there and everyone can just like turn around and look at them so that they don't have to run all the way down and run back up. That's kind of silly.
Sorry
So
about that.
let's save some time on that.
Are there any points of debate on the nomination of Max Siegel? Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion carries. We're now in voting procedure on the nomination of Max Siegel. All those in favor of approving Max? All opposed? All abstaining? Great. Thank you so much, Elise. Congratulations, Max. Great, and next is Director of Campus Tech and Innovation, Kevin Wong. So I'll ask you to generally migrate towards. Yes. Elise, are there any questions for Kevin?
As a director of technology, I'm sure you've worked with many operating systems in the past. So are you a Windows guy or are you more of an Apple guy?
Windows.
That's a good answer.
Any other questions?
Motion and question.
Great. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion carries. We're now in debate. Kevin, please step out. You can also use that door right next to you. Great. Are there any points of debate on the nomination of Kevin Wong?
I would just like to say that as a fellow not men, Kevin Wang is a very great person, great leadership capabilities, and I feel like he'd be a great person for this role.
Thank you. Any other points of debate?
Motion to move to vote procedure on unanimous consent.
Is there any objections? Hearing none, the motion carries. We're now in voting procedure on the nomination of Kevin Wong, the Director of Campus Tech and Innovation. All those in favor of approving? All opposed? All abstaining? Great, thank you so much. And can we grab it? Congratulations, Kevin. Next is Director of Communications, Claire Crafts. So I'll welcome you to with the leagues. Are there any questions for Claire? Great. Yeah. Hi, Claire.
So this is a question kind of based on my own experience and knowing the role that you're going to be taking. As Director of Communications, you would be managing a department that works with communicating externally to the students, and then I believe could also afford to work internally to help us communicate with each other. I think we all understand that the student union is very complicated, and sometimes it's hard to figure out who is in what positions and how all the organizations connect. So my question to you is, well, two questions actually. First off, how are you hoping to better engage the student body to welcome them more into what student government does?
Yeah, so I think on an external level, obviously social media, we have social media platforms in student government, so kind of working to expand those. I also want to develop some relationships with the PR department and at Notre Dame, so kind of use platforms that already have a larger following to communicate. I know we're hoping to do a newsletter that'll go out pretty regularly to the student body. As far as communicating better internally within student union as a whole, we've kind of started some preliminary conversations about using Slack and other larger organizational communication tools so that Senate isn't just communicating with Senate and executive cabinet isn't just communicating with cabinet and kind of having more open communication, what's going on in Senate, what's going on in cabinet and things like that.
Great, thanks.
Any other questions for Claire?
Unanimous consent to proceed to debate.
Great. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion carries. We're now in debate on the nomination of Claire Kraft. And we'll wait. There she goes. Are there any points of debate on the nomination of Claire Kraft?
Hi guys, so for some background information, Claire and I went to high school together. She's a year younger than me. She was the student body president her senior year. Phenomenal leader, phenomenal leadership skills, great communication skills as well. So I'm going to ask for, I strongly support her nomination. I'm going to ask for unanimous consent to move to a vote.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion carries. We're now in voting procedure. All those in favor of approving Claire Kraft? All opposed? And all abstaining? Great. Congratulations, Claire. Fantastic. And next, we have Director of Community Engagement and Outreach, Erica Magdala. Are there any questions for Erica?
Okay. All right. So obviously this year hasn't been normal. There have been many restrictions put on us. So as Director of Community Engagement and Outreach, how will you work to jumpstart our Notre Dame community back into engaging South Bend in terms of like service opportunities and all those kind of things. Hopefully as next year we see a return back to normalcy.
Yeah, so in the past, a big part of this department has been the adventure guide, the South Bend Adventure Guide. So we highlight a bunch of different restaurants and volunteer opportunities in the South Bend community. So I would start there, but then I think that this next year it's really important to get a lot of students involved in the community because we've been gone for so long. And so I think getting different projects together where we could go to the Boys and Girls Club or the Women's Center and just really like dig deep in these communities would be super important and super beneficial to the South Bend community.
Any other questions? Is there a motion to move to debate?
As unanimous consent to move to debate.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion carries. We're now in debate on the nomination of Erica. Are there any points of debate?
Motion to debate, move to vote.
Is there a second? All those in favor? All opposed? All abstaining? Great. So we are now in a vote on Erica's nomination. All in favor of approving Erica? All opposed? All abstaining? Fantastic. Congratulations, Erica. Great. reason for this. Director of Diversity and Inclusion, Maya Medeiros. Any questions for Maya? Not everyone all at once. Blake.
What's your favorite movie?
Oh, that's a good one. I think to most people, I'll probably say Devil Wears Prada, but in reality, probably, I'm not even gonna admit it. I'm gonna say Devil Wears Prada. Yeah. Yeah.
Blake.
It's very embarrassing. I don't think my ego can handle it.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion carries. We're now in debate on the nomination of Maya. We should get the Jeopardy music. And she's done. Great. Are there any points of debate on the nomination of Maya? Great. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion carries. We're now in a vote on the nomination of Maya Medeiros, the Director of Diversity and Inclusion. All those in favor of approving her nomination? All opposed? All abstaining? Great. So congratulations on Maya. Next, we have the Director of Faith and Service, Mary Elizabeth Stern. Are there any questions for Mary Elizabeth? Great.
So of all the grottos you've ever been to, how would you rank Notre Dame's grotto? Of all the grottos you've ever gone to, how would you rank Notre Dame's grotto?
Hasn't been a lot outside of Notre Dame's, but I do go to Notre Dame's frequently, so I would rate it a 10 out of 10 experience.
That's fair. Fair. Any? Great. Is there a second? All those in favor of ending question and moving to debate? All opposed? All abstaining? Great. We're now in debate on the nomination of Mary Elizabeth Stern. Any points of debate? Yep. Yeah, you're a full member.
Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure. I don't know. Okay. I want to say that I've known Mary since she first came here as a freshman, and she is absolutely phenomenal. When she was on top of it, she reached out to me immediately, wanted to get involved, and wanted to know more about spaces for interfaith dialogue. And just from that moment, we've had really great conversations. She's super ambitious. She's such a go-getter. I wish I was like her in so many aspects of my life, and she's a better version I am, so please vote. Otherwise I'll come for you.
Okay. Thank you, Mary, for those kind words. And veiled for any other points of debate? Great. Are there any objections? Hearing none, we're now in voting procedure on the nomination of Mary Elizabeth Stern. All those in favor of approving her nomination? All opposed? All abstaining? Great. Congratulations, Mary Elizabeth. And next, we have our first co-director of Fuel, Ian Baker. Are there any questions for Ian? Blake.
Ian, what's the best dorm hall on campus?
The best what?
Dorm on campus.
Oh, Siegfried.
Fair enough. Are there any further questions?
Can't say I love that answer is key. Okay, like motion to question.
Is there a second? All those in favor of ending the questioning and moving to debate? All opposed? All abstaining? Great. We're now in debate. Are there any points of debate?
I'd just like to say that I had the pleasure of serving under Ian as a fuel intern in the Department of Student Life. I've said once.
Just hit the screen.
Bro, I don't know how this works.
Please. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the screens while they lasted. Christian, you were saying?
And And with everything going on and with the pandemic, with this academic year, he's been able to really push for a lot of the events that Student Life has held over the past 9 to 10 months. So I'm for you guys to please vote yes on this one.
Thank you, Christian. Are there any other points of debate? Is there a motion? Is there a second? All those in favor of moving to the voting procedure? All opposed? All abstaining? We're now in voting procedure. All those in favor of approving Ian Baker's nomination to co-director of fuel? All opposed? All abstaining? Fantastic. Congratulations, Ian. Screens aside, we'll be moving on to our second co-director of fuel, Lizzie Stiefel. Great. Are there any questions for Lizzie? Let's not this again. Ben, is there a second? Okay, all those in favor of moving to debate, all opposed, all abstaining, fantastic. We're now in debate. Lizzie, please step out. I'll just speak very loud. We're now in debate. Is there any points of debate?
I'm gonna wait for that. Okay, hey y'all. So for like the past 6 or 7 months, I've had the opportunity to work with Lizzie very closely in a fuel in a like diversity and resources subcommittee. I just wanted to say I encourage all of you to vote for her because she is one of the most passionate, hardworking people that I've ever met, like in my entire life. And she is very much like a go-getter and she wants equality for everyone and she's just wonderful. So, yeah.
Great, thank you. Are there any other points of debate?
Yes, unanimous consent to move out of voting procedure.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion carries. We're now in voting procedure. All those in favor of approving Lizzie's nomination? All opposed? All abstaining? Great, thank you all, and congratulations, Lizzie. Moving right along, Director of Gender Relations, Hallie Butterfield. Are there any questions for Hallie?
I ask unanimous consent to proceed out of question into debate.
Great. Are there any objections? Hearing none, we are now in debate on the nomination of Hallie Butterfield. Yeah, there she is. Are there any points of debate? I know this is a long Senate meeting.
I ask unanimous consent to move to vote.
Great. Are there any objections? Hearing none, we're now in voting procedure. All those in favor of approving Hallie's nomination? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Fantastic. Congratulations, Hallie. Next is our first co-director of health and well-being, Juliet Kelly. So are there any questions for Juliet? Oh, Connor.
Juliet, of course, this year there's been, a lot of precautions to protect the health and well-being of our campus. And as director, one of those very important precautions has been adhere signs that we've seen all around campus. As director of health and well-being, what is your favorite adhere sign?
That's a great one. I think my favorite, so I'm in Lions Hall, so there's no elevators. My favorite is the one that says, "Here we take the stairs," in a dorm where there is only stairs, so.
Good choice. Are there any other questions? Do I hear a motion?
Motion by unanimous consent to enforce number 2.
Great. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion carries. We're now in debate on the nomination of Juliet Kelly. Are there any points of debate? Great. Are there any objections? Hearing none, we're now in voting procedure. All those in favor of approving Juliet, please raise your hand. All those opposed? All those abstaining? Great. Congratulations, Juliet. Next is our second co-director of health and well-being, Austin Lyman. So are there any questions for Austin? Blake.
Austin, as a kid, did you watch VeggieTales with us?
Yes, I did.
Who was your favorite vegetable?
Larry.
Yeah, he knows his stuff. Are there any other questions? Great. Are there any objections? Hearing none, we're now in debate. Are there any points of debate on the nomination of Austin Lyman? Is there a second? Okay, all those in favor of moving to a vote? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Great, we're now in voting procedure. And now all those in favor of approving Austin's nomination, please raise your hand. All those opposed and abstaining? Fantastic. Congratulations, Austin. Next is our Director of Social Concerns, Aiden Crew. Are there any questions for Aiden?
Aiden, as Director of Social Concerns, what's your favorite social media platform? Ooh, that's a good one.
So I deleted social media for the entirety of Lent, and I still haven't installed them. So I'm just gonna say Twitter because it's the one I use the most. But right now I'm on the cleanse right now still. So
nice. Are there any further questions for Aiden?
Motion and question to debate.
Okay. Is there a second? Great. All those in favor of moving to debate? All opposed? All abstaining? Great. We're now in debate. Are there any points of debate? Dan?
Motion to end debate.
Is there a second? Okay. All those in favor of moving to a vote? All those opposed and abstaining? Fantastic. We're now in voting procedure on the nomination of Aiden. All those in favor of approving his nomination, please raise your hand. All those opposed and abstaining? Fantastic. Congratulations, Aiden. Next is our Director of Student Empowerment, Cassidy Farrell. Are there any questions for Cassidy? Blake.
Cassidy, who's the more powerful superhero, Batman or Iron Man?
I always liked Iron Man, but that's just because I like Robert Downey Jr. And I also never watched Batman because I heard it was really bad. Thanks.
Any further questions?
Motion to end questioning, move to debate.
Is there a second? Okay, all those in favor of moving to debate? All those opposed and abstaining? Fantastic, we're now in debate. Are there any points of debate? Is there any objections? Fantastic, we're now in a vote. All those in favor of approving Cassidy to the position of Director of Student Empowerment, raise your hand. And opposed and abstaining? Fantastic. Congratulations, Cassidy. Next, our first co-director of Student Life, Claire Murphy. Are there any questions for Claire? Blake.
Have you seen the movie The Breakfast Club?
I have not, unfortunately. I know that's embarrassing, but.
Any further questions?
Motion and question move to debate.
Great, is there a second? All those in favor of moving to debate, raise your hand. All opposed and abstaining? Great, we are now in debate on the nomination of Claire Murphy. She exits. Fantastic. Are there any points of debate? Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion carries. We're now in voting procedure on the nomination of Claire Murphy. All those in favor of approving her nomination, raise your hand. And opposed and abstaining. Great. Congratulations, Claire. Our second director of co-director of Student Life, Ethan Terrell. Are there any questions for Ethan? Blake.
Ethan, have you seen The Breakfast Club?
Unlike my other co-director, I have.
Shade. Who is the main character of that movie?
Just like the co-director of the other co-director, I don't know the answer to that.
It's obviously the principal. Are there any further questions for Ethan? Great. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion carries. We're now in debate. Are there any points of debate on Ethan's nomination? Great. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion carries. We're now in voting procedure on Ethan's nomination. All those in favor of approving Ethan's nomination, please raise your hand. All opposed, all abstaining. Great. Congratulations, Ethan. Next, we have our Director of Sustainability, Avery Broughton. Any questions for Avery? Abraham? Yes, please.
Hey, Avery. So just a quick question. So in the prior semester, the food containers that we had in the dining hall were switched from like the black plastic to this biodegradable material. But a lot of students experience like the food seeping through the container or like being too essentially like too floppy or not. The food would say like when you would eat, like it would like it would start like coming off into the food. So how would you balance the environmental impacts of Notre Dame, but at the same time take into consideration the student convenience and accessibility to these materials?
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways, I mean, personally for me, I know this sounds kind of bad, but like, I think that having some like sort of minor inconvenience because of the waste is so large from all of these plastic containers. And so when I think about being the director of sustainability and kind of really prioritizing that, I think trying to make sure that we keep our waste as low as possible and allow for biodegradable materials to happen is definitely a priority, but we also like don't want that to sort of like impede upon student life too much. So I would maybe see if like sort of getting some sort of like bottom like fill-in or something that could like be put into the container and like extra paper or something to try and see if that could like prevent things from seeping through. But yeah, I think there's definitely a way to sort of like have both like having students have like not have their food all over the place, but then also like prioritizing sustainability.
A quick follow-up question. So if there are student body concerns, for example, like last semester, they slowly started taking away like the plastic utensils and the plastic bags, and that led to students trying to balance their food and it falling on the ground like multiple times. So how could students reach you or your department in order to voice their concerns?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can always email me. I'm not entirely sure about all of like the different procedures and stuff, but I definitely want to make it a point as much as possible. One, you can always come to me, voice your concerns, and also anybody that you know inside of the cabinet, like making sure that you can like speak with them, because definitely student concern is like a very important thing, because I think sustainability deals with a lot of lifestyle stuff, so we want to try and be as sort of like understanding of that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Are there any further questions? Could you remind us of your name?
I'm Veronica.
Great.
Hi. With an unlimited budget, what would be the first thing you would do to improve sustainability on campus?
That's a very good question. I mean, I think in a non-COVID world, I would probably, well, I guess in a COVID world, I would probably try and do more waste diversion stuff within the actual dining hall. So whether that means like going back to the compostable stuff and actually having like a compost facility on campus, I think that would be really cool. But then I think outside of COVID, I don't really know what campus looks like that much, just because I'm like a freshman and I'm not entirely like totally familiar with everything. But I think that, again, I think like very like large scale composting would probably be one of the things I do, as well as, yeah, I could go on forever. There's so many things we could do. But yeah.
Thank you.
Further questions?
Motion to end question, move to a debate.
Great. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of moving to a debate? All opposed? All abstaining? Fantastic. We are now in debate. So are there any points of debate? Is there a second? All those in favor? All opposed? All abstaining? Great. We're now in voting procedure on Avery's nomination. All those in favor of approving? All those opposed? And all abstaining? Fantastic. Congratulations, Avery. And last but certainly not least, at least for executive cabinet directors, is Director of University Policy, Dane Sherman. Are there any questions for Dane?
Hey Dane, how are you? So clearly you and I have had multiple discussions in the past and we share very different political ideas, but we get along very well. So in your, if confirmed, in your position, how will you approach people from an opposite ideology from you in order to accomplish your goals with the most unifying way possible?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Abraham, for that question. I think it's so important.
In reaching out to department members or potential department members upon my potential confirmation, we've really been looking on how we can make sure that we are exemplifying the incredible political and ideological diversity that we have here at the University of Notre Dame. And with that, we're trying to make sure that we are providing all political opinions when we're doing these things. That's why in certain projects that we're thinking about working on, such as a student activism open house at the beginning of next school year, in like an addition to like the club fair, we're trying to incorporate opinions of student activists from all sides of the political spectrum. That includes every single organization that could possibly include this political activism, really trying to make sure that we are exemplifying grassroots political support and ideologies of people from all over the political spectrum here.
Thank you, and I look forward to working with you.
Are there any further questions for Dan?
Hi, Dave. With the lack of communication between the student body, or more so the lack of communication from admin, what do you plan on doing to address admin's like lack of like everything?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ava. I think when we're looking at the ways that we're dealing with administration, I think it's really important that we're building up the relationships with administrators who we might not think are as approachable as possible. And so making sure that we're building up those connections so that we can then spread information to the student body. I also think that it's important that not only are we spreading this information to the student body, but with all the things that we're working on and all of the policies that administration is pushing forward, that we're also making sure that we're not going to capitulate to everything that the administration does. I think that all of the administrators are out here doing what they believe is best for the students and best for the student body. Like EHH could be doing anything she wanted, and she is here helping us as students. And so I think it's really important to acknowledge the amazing work that they're doing, but also saying there are certain needs and concerns of students on this campus that need to be addressed, and that there are certain problems, especially when it comes to the ways that marginalized students on this campus are being treated, that we need to push back against. And so I think it's really important that not only are we spreading that information from the administration to students, but we're also making sure that we are not doing the same incrementalist and capitulating strategy that has plagued student government for so many years.
So just adding on to that, my constituency has been really concerned with admin being very, they're not very transparent, and they feel like they're ignoring the student body. So part of the executive cabinet and working with your fellow executive departments, how would you increase accessibility, but also help the student body be more active and voice their concerns to admin in the effective way for them to actually take us into consideration?
Thank you so much, Abraham. When I was applying for this department, I actually wrote a 40-page document outlining all of my plans for what we need to do with university policy. And this includes how we are going to spread the information that we have and the policies that administrators are pushing forward to the students. And so a lot of ways that we want to do this. The first way is I want to do waffles and coffee and chats in the student government office, where we'll invite 10 random students from across campus into the student government office, assuming no COVID next semester, hopefully. And we'll have coffee, we'll have waffles, and we'll talk with students about what their concerns are. We're also spreading the things we're working on, the things that administrators are telling us. We're also going to be holding student government roundtables with administrators, focusing on different issues that are happening on this campus. This will be where we'll get administrators, members of MSPS, the members of the GRC, and people all across campus. And then also getting 20 students from around campus in a wide variety that are impacted by certain issues. Holding town hall type little conversations in small dinner groups where we're going to be talking about these really important issues and impactful issues that are happening to students. Things that student government has been working on forever, like the non-discrimination clause and all of the really big platform points that Maddie and Alan made. And we're going to be having these conversations with the administrators, talking about what students' concerns are, what students are feeling, and then voicing those to the administrators so that they can't say, oh, we had no idea about this problem, because they're going to be hearing directly from students what is happening on this campus. And then we're also focusing on different ways and different town hall type events where we can spread this information from different organizations on campus to massive groups of students. This means that we're trying to spread information about different issues. So we'll focus on like the non-discrimination clause with one and have different administrators and students invited to them. The last thing that we're going to be focusing on when it comes to spreading information to students about what is going on is that we're planning to have a department size of 200 to 500 members, something that the student union has never seen before. And this is because we need students' voices heard and listened to and their concerns validated. And we need to be mobilizing those students to fight back against oppressive policies by the administration and focusing on ways that we can uplift our community and their voices. Thank you so much, Abraham.
Thank you for that response.
Hi, Dan. I'm cautious to put anyone on the spot about a specific policy ever, but given that you've written this 40-page paper, I assume it's something you've thought about. So I'm the off-campus president, and like I think a lot of us remember a couple of years ago, the highly unpopular decision out of Res Life, known as like the senior exclusion policies or the off-campus exclusion policies. I'd just love to hear a little more about like how you might like think about that issue and like how you might approach those conversations and prioritize that issue.
Absolutely, thank you so much. Yes, so I've actually had conversations with Gates McGovern, Corey Gayhart, Elizabeth Boyle, and Pat McGuire, the two administrations in between where that policy was implemented. You see, when we're talking about these policies that the administration is bringing down against students, we need to make sure that we're transparent about the policies that are happening and that we are organizing students around those issues. If you notice, or if you remember the history of what happened during the off-campus differentiation, there was a massive student mobilization brought forward by the Gates and Corey administration. And that mobilization led to them actually repealing parts of the policy that weren't as popular. And so we see that the best ways to make the administration listen to us is not through the traditional student government method. I respect and love all the work that you all are doing, and the Senate is a vital part of the student union to get these procedures and resolutions forward and to voice the student concerns on these issues. But we can't continue to just do the normal pathway of passing a resolution. We need to mobilize and activate our students in powerful ways so that their voices feel listened to and so that we can fight back against policy points that might not be as popular when it comes to the student union.
Any further questions? Okay, all those in favor? All opposed? All abstaining? Fantastic, we're now in debate. Are there any points of debate? No, you're fine. I'm trying to remember your name, Mary Elizabeth? Yes. Yeah, you're confirmed now.
Okay, hi, I just wanted to add something briefly to Dane's character, which I feel like you got a lot more of than like normally the other executive cabinets. But I had the privilege of working on the mental health subcommittee with Dane in Fuel. And I just want to say that in my 19 years, I have not met anyone who has more passion or more dedication to his community for positive impact. And it's been one of the most inspirational things to me for my first year here. And I just simply haven't met anyone who has loved harder than he has. He tackled me when he saw me this afternoon just to say hi. And it was heartwarming and it left a bruise, but it's fine. And so I just encourage you to all vote unanimously for Dane for this position because I cannot wait to see what he does with the rest of his 3 and 1 month left on campus. And if you do vote for him, definitely try to get to know him as a friend as well with your time here. So
Thank you so much. Are there any further points of debate? Aiden.
Hey everyone, I just want to echo that. This past year, I served as president of Siegfried Hall, and I had the privilege of living right down the hall of Dane. Over many cups of coffee, many lunches, many late nights talking and laughing. He is by far the nicest human being I've ever met, one of the smartest, most passionate people I've ever met. And I'd really like to say, I agree with everything that was said. He is so capable, so qualified for this job, and I really encourage you all to support his candidacy tonight. So,
Abraham?
Yeah, so just as a fellow Hesburgh USO scholar, I've also gotten to know Dane. And even though we're like on completely different sides of the political spectrum, like having conversations with him is like the absolute best thing. Because even though like traditionally we disagree on a lot of things, we tend to find a lot of common ground on multiple like very divisive issues. So having him in an executive department like gives me reassurance that we're going to have a very inclusive governance here in the Senate and here in the executive department. So I would also encourage all of you to vote for his nomination. Thank you.
Yes. Could you remind me your name? Paul. Paul. Thank you.
I'll be very brief because I know that we're kind of short on time here. When it comes to members of the freshman class, I think Dane is maybe the preeminent leader. I feel like when I think of leaders in the class, he's one of the very first people to come to mind. As you've seen, like he's such a fantastic public speaker. The fact that he wrote a 40-page paper just to apply is quite frankly ridiculous and makes me feel bad about myself. And I just feel like getting to know him super well the past 2 months, understanding how badly he wants to see the campus be better will immediately impact everything that he's going to be doing when it comes to policy at this school. And I cannot recommend a better person for this position.
Thank you. Any other further points of debate?
I move to end debate in this room.
Are you asking unanimous consent?
Yes.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, we're now voting procedure. All those in favor of approving Dane's term? All opposed? All abstaining? Fantastic. Congratulations, Dane. All right, we're almost there, but we're not out of the wood yet. So I'll invite David Pons to the floor, our Judicial Council President, to present the nomination for Student Union Parliamentarian.
All right, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us. So last few here. First is for parliamentarian. Madison is currently serving as parliamentarian, and I'm renominating her for the position. So members of the Student Senate, it is with great pleasure that I present to you my nominee, Madison Nemeth, for the position of Student Union Parliamentarian for the 2021-2022 term. According to Article 12, Section 3C of the Constitution of the Undergraduate Student Body, parliamentarians shall monitor the transition, internal review, and overall process.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, thank you, David.
Thank you, Christian.
We'll now move into questioning of Madison Nemeth. Abraham. Is there a second? All those in favor of moving to debate? All those opposed? All abstaining? Great. So we're now in debate. Are there any points of debate on the nomination of Madison Nemeth?
Member of Senate last year, Madison was the parliamentarian for the latter half of our term. She's also the head of the Committee on the Constitution. So she's been handling a lot lately, especially when it comes to looking at our Constitution, making it more efficient so we can all be more efficient as a student union. I have full confidence in her to continue doing so. So I motion to end debate and move to vote on her nomination.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All those opposed? And abstaining? Great. We're in voting procedure on the nomination of Madison Nemeth. All those in favor of approving her nomination? All opposed? All abstaining? Great. Congratulations, Madison, if you can hear me.
Oh, shoot.
And for our next nomination, we have Vice President of Elections. Christian? Great. Are there any objections to dispensing with the reading of the letter? Hearing none, the motion carries. We're now in questioning for Cora and Issa. Are there any questions for Cora? Sorry to make you walk all the way down. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion carries. We're now in debate. Paul? Well, almost Paul.
I'd say without hyperbole that Corin may be the nicest person I've ever met at Notre Dame. I know that because she was the vice president of the class council, and I just know that because of the empathy she has for others, she's going to do fantastic in this position.
Thank you for that. Are there any further points of debate?
Motion on debate, we proceed to a vote.
Great. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of moving to a vote? All opposed and abstaining? Great. We're now in voting procedure. All those in favor of approving Corin? All opposed and all abstaining? Great. Congratulations, Corin. Lastly, we have the nomination for Vice President of Bureaucracy. Chris. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion carries. We'll now move into questioning for Allison Chirk.
She's on Zoom.
She's on
Okay,
Zoom.
great.
Let me bring her up. Allison, I'm gonna pin you.
Great. Are there any questions for Allison?
Motion to dispense with questioning, proceed to debate.
Great. Is there a second? All those in favor of moving to debate? All opposed and abstaining? Thank you. We're now in debate. Can we? Okay.
She went off.
Just pretend she's not there. Are there any points of debate for Allison? Great. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion carries. We're now in voting procedure. All those in favor of approving Allison Sharp for the position of Vice President of Bureaucracy? All those opposed and abstaining? Great. Please make sure we're actually voting. Great. Congratulations, Allison, on your appointment. Thank you for bearing with us through a rather long list of nominations tonight. All that's left is new business. This is where we'll put in things that are coming up in the next week. You can also at any time motion to you have to unanimously vote to bring things from new business into general orders. But generally, this is just forecasting what's coming down the line. So, executive cabinet department signups. Each senator is required to serve on at least one executive cabinet department. Next week, we'll have a form for you to sign up, list your preferences, and we'll assign you a department. You can read more about each of the departments in the link there. We'll also have another presentation from Madison on writing resolutions. This will be helpful for our newer members to understand what the legislative, business actually is that we're doing here. We'll also have nominations for the Student Union Board Executive Board. The reason that Kate actually isn't here is because she's doing interviews right now to get those to us in time. And then we'll have 3 resolutions bestowing emeritus status on Rachel Engel, Sarah Galvinsky, and Aaron Benavides. This is a ceremonial passing of the torch and honoring their service, especially in an incredibly difficult year. These will be resolutions, but because they are so ceremonial, I won't assign them to a committee, so they'll just come directly here. However, these last 2 orders, I am going to assign to the Committee on the Constitution. So in order to revise the Senate bylaws, I've taken the time to rewrite the Senate bylaws, but I want to send it to ComCon first to make sure that we can pair it with an appropriate constitutional amendment to the Senate section of the Constitution. And the last one is in order to amend the Student Union Constitution to extend the procedural timeline for Senate consideration of petitions. You'll remember that there was a referendum on whether to raise the number of signatures necessary to bring a petition that failed miserably. But the procedural sort of hurdle is still there of having to bring a petition within one academic week. And so we're hoping to send that to ComCon for consideration and hopefully extending that to 2 weeks, which isn't that big of a deal, but when you're trying to set up an agenda and run a Senate, it's actually a very big buffer. So great. So those two are assigned to ComCon. Any announcements? During announcement section, any member of the Senate may bring announcements about upcoming events. I know Elise, we have some upcoming events with Right to the Lake. Correct?
Yes. Yes, okay. Student government has agreed graciously, I might add, to co-sponsor a week that I've been organizing for the past 6 months with Notre Dame Right to Life. So I'm not a member of Notre Dame Right to Life, but I was a participant in the Center for Social Concerns Act Justly seminar, which discussed the history of racial injustice in our country and in the church. So with my team over at the CSC and then a really dedicated team over at Right to Life, we put together an entire week about the church's role in anti-racism, race as a life issue, and then also life as a race issue. I put a lot of work into this and it was a really amazing experience. I cannot give enough credit to the rest of the team, both on the Center for Social Concerns side and the Right to Life side. I really encourage you to attend a lot of the events. There's going to be a lot of posters on campus very soon. If you see me hanging them up, then maybe give me a hand, because in case you can't tell, I run around a lot. I just want to say, I'd appreciate y'all's attendance at any of these. So there's going to be a prayer service. We're going to stream the movie 13th, which is really exciting. And there are going to be a lot of other, but every single day there's at least one event happening. So I would really encourage you guys to attend and kind of explore different political sides of every conversation.
Thank you so much, Elise. Are there any other announcements? David.
Hey, really quickly, off-campus council elections are coming up. I just want to remind you that just like when you were running for Senate, you could not get endorsements from office holders. Now you cannot endorse people. Just make sure that when you're on social media, you're not giving any indications of support to one candidate or another in those races. They'll make your life easier, and same with Cory.
Great. Thank you so much, David. Danny.
So a couple weeks ago, me and Ben sent out a resolution in the Senate to bring back the hoops on the basketball courts. And so the first thing I want to ask all of you is please get vaccinated, because I have been in talks with Rec Sports and they say we have to hit that 90% number to get the hoops back. So please get vaccinated.
Thank you so much, Danny. Could you remind me your name?
Yeah, I'm Bianca.
Bianca.
I represent Pangborn Hall, and April 17th we're hosting an event called PangCon, where we're hosting a ping-pong tournament. So I recommend that everybody signs up, where all proceeds are going to St. Ursula's Special School in Uganda, and everybody signs up gets free 2 plays. I definitely sign up.
Great. Thank you so much. Any other announcements? Abraham?
Oh, shoot.
What do you sign up for? I don't know. We'll be sending out emails and stuff. No season flyers.
Great. Thank you.
Oh, we have an announcement on Zoom.
Please read the announcement.
No, you can unmute. Sorry.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I can speak. So I am the outgoing director of operations for the Student Union Board. You'll be meeting my incoming predecessor, or my incoming person next week when she is confirmed. I just wanted to announce that for the Student Union Board, we are playing Book Smart in DBART 101 this weekend, and next week is Ant Hostel. So throughout the week, you'll be seeing Dream Hostel, merchandise, giveaways, activities all over campus. We are doing plate smashing. We are going to be giving away a lot of food. So definitely check out what's going on campus next week. You'll be hearing a lot of music as well. And yeah, it'll be a great time.
Great. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. As my final announcement, I guess I'll hang around if you have any more questions or anything. Also, I'll have office hours tomorrow, so please come by. Hearing no further announcements, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Great. All those in favor? All opposed?